Good evening. Welcome to the Community Recreation Commission, March 23rd, 2017. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, hello everybody. Approval of tonight's agenda. Is there any additions, deletions? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, so we got Ms. Ethel, and who seconded it? Elena. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting minutes approval from January 26th. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
Approve.
I'll put a motion out there to approve the minutes from the January 26th meeting.
Ann wants to make one change, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll make a motion to make a correction to the January meeting or the January minutes?
All right, in 07, the director's report, the full interview committee is not stated, so we're going to make the addition along with Dale Riem, Ann Darzniak, Jim Nelson, Joe Porcarelli, Walt Ketcher, Annette Peltz. I think that's everybody. All right, any other changes, additions, or deletions? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve as the changes stated. Ethel, second. Helena, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public comment, 3-minute non-agenda items. Anyone from the public want to state anything? Going once, going twice. All right, chairperson's report. We got a couple things to go over. First, I guess the big one is going to be our recreation director. We did go around for another round of interviews. We had the top 3 come. I believe Jim did an offer go out. Do we know?
Yes, it did.
So we did have our top choice. Is it top choice offer that went? So the top choice went. Have we heard anything back?
Wants it. We're just getting the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
Cool. And I believe we got probably a 30-day wait time with this candidate. When she does accept or so, thereabouts. We're looking probably sometime in May. We probably would be able to get her, maybe, because.
I would hope by the 1st of May at the latest.
All right. So what we got going then, if the game plan's correct, Jim, is that we hope that the offer would be done and ready by the 27th for your board meeting to approve, right?
Which is Monday.
Right.
Hopefully.
Okay. So that's what our hope is.
Yeah, that's the goal. If not, it'll be in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. And I believe everyone had the candidates sent. Dale sent everyone out there. We had a little meet and greet and stuff. Some of the commission members came. A lot of the board trustees came and met the different candidates, asked their own questions and such. It went really well. Jim, got any comments about the director? Potential.
I can't wait till she starts.
Cat's out of the bag. It's a girl. All right. Moving on. All right. So Dale wants us to talk about these weight trim drawings. So what we got here is Wade Trim gave us different options about what the fields are going to be looking like. All right, this is the existing one right now. This is the way it stands right now. Approximately, it says just existing of 190 cars. As you can see, the football fields right here. Football fields. There's all the soccer fields. There's a sled hill right here. This is the proposed soccer fields right here. Another one over here that's straddling the line. This is our property, this corner. Okay, that's all recreation. This area here, we lease for $1 a year from the airport. but it's under our control, this area right here. Go to this one here. This is where we start getting into the airport property lines with the addition of these fields right here. All right, and you can see the ball fields now are on the north end. And this has 360 cars is the main thing here. So they say that the big comments right here, utilizing the south and southwest properties for fields. Sledding stays the same, but with added berm. This one, once again, we get into the airport fields, but we got a baseball field here, baseball field here. This is going to be all parking like right here, and adding 3 soccer fields right here. So we got from 360 from the last one, we got 420. Utilize south and southwest court properties for fields. Sledding stays the same, but with added berm. And just so everyone knows, this was brought up with the airport commerce people already about these plans. Sure. Correct. So the rec property line is this is basically the this whole corner, this whole area right here is all rec. This is under rec control, but it's through the airport.
Does the rec also control the?
Correct. That's part of our property. Okay, so the airport controls, so for us to even to do the lease was just saying that, that they could take it back at any time. So it goes to the federal government because it's an airport property. The whole idea is got to be some kind of benefit for the community, and then it's usually they want some kind of monetary thing for the property that they donate or get. You know what I mean? They can't just give it to us. We got to basically buy it. Well, that's the thing. We'd have to work with the Commerce Commission to see if that would even be possible, if they're even, open to the idea of us taking some of their property. Because once we get it, everyone knows that it basically it ain't getting it back. It's pretty hard to get it back from the community once you get it.
Requests from.
We'll get to that in a little bit, Leah.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yep.
Well, if that's a part of what they're doing.
Correct, because that is something to consider, though, Chanda, because we do what we existing have. Can we make it work? Since we control it, to make everyone happy, whatever. But I mean, if you just talk about a weekend, it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
And I think we passed that $1 a year along to Gyra to lease those football fields for a year. Isn't it 8 cents a month?
No, we don't build them at all.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that didn't have to be a process.
No.
A part of this process. That was my.
That is the agreement. Okay, he's saying no, and you're saying yes. $1 a year. Thank you.
No, $1 a year that we pay. It goes through us, though. You guys.
Correct,
Right.
but they're
We're the
right.
intermediary. Yep. All right, so now going to this plan now, we get 10 more cars, 430. But the big difference here, though, is that it cuts north into the forest. Well, they say the forest on this drawings, but we got to be worried about the wetlands in the area over here with the creek. I'm not sure how close this is. They had it marked off years ago, and I'm sure those stakes are all gone. We're going down now with 400 cars. That's probably the tree line. I guess. Really should, if I wish I had a color one for this one. All right, so this one basically stays the same. There ain't too much of a difference from the last one.
So it's pretty much putting more cars over there, right?
Right. Well, this one's less than because there's only 400
Right,
cars in
yeah.
this one. We're at 430, 420.
Well, and then you added the
But
baseball
the encroachment
fields,
for
too.
this one though is going to be maybe a little bit less though, but it's going to be the parking. It's going to be this area right here because this road is basically the cut line. This is a little bit less encroachment. All right, this one's 290. This one pretty much jam packs everything in there. New additions stay within the property boundaries. Sledding hill is repositioned, so basically we move a giant sled hill. Baseball fields are far from parking in the building. Cuts north into the forest. Now, this one here with 2 ball fields here, this is, this is not something that's going to take up overnight, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we have usage and stuff like that. I'm still a big proponent of baseball fields with the schools. You got the infrastructure.
Is this dark?
Parking.
That'd be parking.
Oh, okay.
Now here we got less cars. New additions stay within property boundary. Sledding hill is repositioned, cuts north into the forest. So the ball field's a little swap, and so from this field we had a baseball field up here from the old one, and now it's down here, and then the soccer field that was here, obviously over here. And then here's a tiny one. 125 cars is probably nowhere near going to be enough. No change to the sledding hill. It's the cheapest one is what they're stating. Least amount of parking and cuts north into the forest. And that's, again, the wetland concern, especially because this one here, now you're definitely, you're getting the wetlands right here. That's already there. So I don't see how that one's even an option. All right. So then we'll go back and talk about ice again. Color one of this one. All right, so this is Sunrise Park. And we really don't really. All right, so the main changes for here is going to be the kayak. This will be the kayak slide. So a lot of people are utilizing the beach area for kayaking, so they want to be able to put a kayak in here and just slide it down the hill. This is the existing staircase right here. This would be a crosswalk to go across the road. But the other main things was we utilized the what do you call that? Not embankment. What is this? The
Pier that goes
the
out
railroad truss thing, whatever. That's because that was for the railroad right here. This big concrete thing. But he utilized this as a lookout area and stuff like this. So we're really going to be going more north and taking make more advantage of this property because then here's stairs coming down from that embankment on here. But this one's pretty easy. The parking though would be along Parkway.
Across the other way.
This way.
Yep, see where you're pending down, a little further down, there's 8 spaces, yep. Right
But that's
there.
Historical Society, or is that in?
No, that's along the road.
Oh,
They're gonna
okay,
be
so,
parking.
all right.
That's good there.
I stand corrected. So right here.
I think so.
And is Wayne County all on board with that, the parking spaces?
I'm not sure about that one either.
All right.
Not sure about that one at all. So we see that. Let's hit the. I think the easiest one to go with first is Sunrise Park. I mean, is there anything that sticks out that seems like a problem at all? I mean, that we would not approve this draft drawing?
I love this draft.
I do too.
Love it.
Yeah. The kayak, so to slide that down the hill like that, is there like steps that are going to be there to go down alongside that? Is it like you put it in where those wheels spin? What's that called?
Correct. Yeah, so
right.
that'd be like a staircase and then the ramp thing for that. Yep.
Oh, Oh, okay.
Price tag will be interesting.
Right. But, so, I mean, besides, like, Greg, what you said about traffic lights, which would be up to, obviously, the trustees and Wayne County Road Commission, overall plan, is there anything you don't seem doable or out of the ordinary? Or are we missing anything?
Sounds very ambitious.
Well, it's a goal, I guess. We can.
Dream.
How's
Dream
it going to be
big.
financed?
Well, that's TBD, to be determined, Ethel.
Okay. Just curious.
Obviously, we run by grant money, so that's going to be the main thing.
Okay.
But if we actually have this drawing and with a goal, it makes getting grant or matching grant monies a lot easier.
Right.
That we have something that we're striving for. So, does everyone like the Sunrise Park drawing draft as
Absolutely.
is?
I do.
Want to make a motion to approve this drawing?
Are we just approving the drawing?
That's all we're doing.
All right. Should we do the fields too, or are those separate?
Well, we'll get to that one after we get done with this one.
I put a motion that we approve the drawing for Sunrise Park, the plans in the future,
Do I have a
as
second?
submitted.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ann? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, motion passes on that one. All right, now we're going to get into the complicated one. Is there any drawing right off the bat that you feel it doesn't work? Can we agree on some of that? Anyone's thoughts
Yep.
or ideas?
The two at the top where they reposition the sled hill, I think that's first two. And our student Alicia is nodding agreement over here. I think those two should go out. We can't be repositioning that.
Which ones? Which ones, Chad?
Two in the middle at the top.
We're going to start with what we'll call going to the top 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom 5, 6, 7, 8. Huh?
They have names on them. Look,
They-
option 1A, 1B, 1C.
Oh, good. You can see better than I can.
Okay.
Okay. So you're saying 1A and 1B no one likes?
1B and 1C.
1B and 1C.
1B and 1C. Is everyone in agreement to that?
1B and 1C are not, just,
So the sled hill.
Right. And there's not much parking.
No.
Greg, how you feel about that?
Can you put it up there on the screen? Thank you.
The south that'd be all commerce.
So is Commerce opposed?
That's all airport.
Has anybody talked to Commerce before we start deciding on a field, whether or not they'll even allow us to build some of these fields?
Yes,
on their property?
it has been approached. I think Dale approached them, told them that we were going to discuss these plans. They've seen it, so they know that we are discussing it. This is all we're at. We're just at discussions. They know that that it's out there.
Right, but are they opposed? Are they agreeable to us? Because there's no sense in even looking at the bottom options if they're not going to allow us to build there.
Correct.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I'm
Right.
kind of thinking that we should go in with the idea that we have one that's existing, and then go for one that we'd go into Commerce Park. Basically, a plan A, plan B. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess my comment would be, if it was me and I was looking at this, is okay. One, you want the parking where everybody can easily access whatever field it is they're going to. So, I mean, if you have the option of building parking and or fields on the Commerce Park, it kind of opens up a little bit more arranging of the fields and whatnot, I would think, So that's why I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should have got a Commerce to at least say, yeah, we're not opposed to you building on our property, but right now, I mean, what happens if we pick alternate 3B and they go, no, you can't build on our property? Yeah, they know we're looking at them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Like talking with Dale, it's really going to be a discussion, a massaging, whatever, Jim maybe
Right.
trying to convince them that it's good for the community groups themselves, that they can sit there and raise their voice. This is going to be all good, and the Commerce Park should do this. So it's really kind of like, I guess, where we're at right now, because I don't think the Commerce Park wants to get rid of anything unless they get money.
Right, exactly. I mean, and any fields is good for the
I
community.
think they want us to come with some ideas. I mean, because there's not a lot of creative people down there with that group, if I do say so. Whatever. So if we can come with 2 or 3 of these even and say, look, this is what we have in mind, it might be an easier selling pitch than them trying to make a decision and bring it us.
Do we have representatives from baseball, soccer, football? Soccer? Who else we got? Football? Do we got baseball? Well, why don't we get your guys' input here? You guys seen these plans? First time you guys seen them?
Have them come up front.
Who's seen them? Anyone seen them before for tonight? No one? That's not good.
And then when we're looking at 1A, that one goes back into the marsh. I think anything that goes into the marsh right now should be taken off this proposal too.
Well, yeah, because we won't even be allowed to build.
Right.
All right, let me, who do we got here? Football? Do what, pardon me?
Blow it up.
Oh, the small one? Well, they're all different, right?
Are there any of them that don't go into the marsh area?
Oh.
3B? Okay. I like 3B. I like 3B because I like the baseball fields at the outer perimeter. Because then you won't have to worry about baseballs running into the soccer fields.
All right, let's get some input from the groups. What does football, baseball, and soccer think about this plan?
I like 3B the best.
Personally, from a soccer standpoint,
Doesn't
I
go
think
into
that
the marsh either.
all of these it's just too much stuff in the north end.
Just jammed in
It's
there.
just jammed in. You can't get anything done. I mean, there's going to be soccer balls flying everywhere. If we can come down into here and give football or baseball over here and soccer the middle and football to the right, I think that's good.
You like this one?
3A or 3A I like. I mean, we go into anything else and you're just tearing up all the existing soccer fields.
3A. How does everyone think about 3A? What is football and baseball's opinion on this one?
I can just give you Paul's broad opinion on all of them. That out
No.
in terms of the field or the clubhouse.
We're here now.
Right.
And parking's still here now. This field is established, but we can surrender that one to baseball. Baseball builds another one, and we take all this. That's good for us. Everything else is bad.
I guess one thing I can say
Wait,
from a
okay.
baseball perspective is anything that
They survey this, or are they just willy-nilly kind of drawing this?
No. They supposedly went there and did the whole 9
Because that's, I mean, I don't see how that's even feasible.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know if there's any way to put that field in there.
Hey, Walt.
Soccer field,
Walt.
and it's on the edge.
Can I make a suggestion that we get this to the group so that they can look at it and they can at least come prepared to discuss this? We don't have anybody from baseball, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, he says
Oh,
he's just not here on behalf of.
okay.
on behalf. And it sounds like soccer and football haven't really had a chance to even sit down and look at it in detail.
No, there's a whole lot for us to take in.
No, exactly.
in
That's
2
what
minutes.
that's what I'm trying to say. I would make them. I don't even know if we need
All
to make
right.
a motion, but that we disseminate this to the affected parties. They can look at it, and then we can discuss it in more
Other
detail.
than you can say, forget a couple of them, like the one that's in the wetland. Why?
Well, maybe.
In other words, if you give them a couple of choices and not 10 choices, you're more likely going to get somewhere.
I mean, really, because I don't see how this can be doable at all.
Well, I think
Yeah, if Commerce Park says no,
Right.
yeah,
come back and say no,
then you're limited really, and then you can't go into the wetlands. Now you're looking at option 1C is really your only option.
You guys were all in this conversation to make these drawings, right?
we were in the working level.
That's no big deal. Nobody. But it's obvious there's a couple you got to just wipe out. I don't do that.
Right here?
Yeah, no, above that.
Right here?
Yeah.
That's a field. Because this is the parking right here.
Above it is that the.
And then maybe the Kalis Memorial, I think, maybe?
Oh.
Yeah, now, did you guys have discussions about concession stands and bathrooms, right?
That's what I'm thinking that building is, the one with the line.
Oh,
That's what I think it is.
well, why wouldn't they have a notation of that then?
Can we get these guys each a copy of this, or a couple copies that they can take with them? I have writing all over mine.
Why don't we do this, Walt, unless somebody's opposed? I would say we table this, get all the interested parties to look at it, and then we can come and, everybody can come with one proposal or come with one field that they like, and then we can kind of look at it. Otherwise, I think we're kind of getting the cart before the horse. This is my opinion. If I'm in the minority, fine, somebody tell me. It's just,
I'm fine with that. I mean,
All copies of it.
we got to have the parties that are touching these fields, you're right, sign off on this stuff, right?
Well, we can also get in contact with Commerce Park and find out if they're even on board with it. If it's even feasible. If it's feasible, I think it opens up a lot more possibilities. I mean, we can start, maybe we can add parking back there, more parking and whatnot. So I don't know. Again, that's just my thought. So.
Are you making that a motion? I'll be glad to type it in.
Okay. I make a motion we table this until the next meeting with the intent of disseminating. Is that a good word? To all the interested parties. And then everyone comes to the next meeting or is at least invited to the next meeting and has an opportunity to voice their concern. Or is that too long-winded for?
That's pretty
Oh, I
long.
got it.
Okay.
I'll second. Or do we need a second yet?
Yep, we do need a second.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right, so that's what we'll do. And did you steal my agenda?
Leave it up there somewhere.
You always steal everything. Next on the agenda. All right, so there's none. Do we have any old business? I don't believe so. New business? Anyone that's got to bring up any new business?
Nope.
All right, so subcommittee updates. Chad, I'm gonna let you take over while I go make copies for these three groups.
Mr. Nelson, do you have some words?
I could be the fastest one.
Your top's on the list.
Township Board Liaison Jim Nelson.
All right, so how many
Anything?
copies of soccer want? How many copies
No
of baseball
report.
want?
No report tonight. Okay.
Anything you want to ask me? You can ask me anything you want to
Yeah,
ask me.
well, we will. We'll get there. Leah, Open Space and Greenways Committee update, please.
Yes, it's kind of quiet right now, but they're looking at the trail that runs along Ferry Road, Ferry, and they're working on that. It's a slow process. Oh, and Woody is doing well after his surgery.
Just so y'all know, Ted Fournier's out of commission right now, too. So, Ted Fournier. So, all right. Matt, Water's Edge, Matt Wayne.
Yeah, so Chad and I had a chance to meet last week and meet with the owners of Smokies, and they acknowledged that during off hours, the hostess at Smokies would be able to collect cash and forms for the transient boating to help out when we don't have people at the recreation department.
That it?
Yep, that's all.
So we did talk to Tom and Scott down there, and so the receptionist will host from 6 to 9 p.m. I think, because there's nobody at the rec center down there to collect boat dockage. But they are scared of going from $5 to $10 for 4-hour transient fees because they think it might detour some of their crowd. So I think we should stick to the $5 and then talk about winter storage because summer's already upon us with that. So thanks, Matt. Okay, me. Let's skip me until 1 Walt gets back. Greg, Airport Rec. Oh, I'm sorry, Helene. I'm so sorry. All right, Centennial Farms. I sat with you all last week. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi,
Julie Cordes, Animal Control. Thank you for having me, by the way. I got a couple of things I just want to talk about real quick. Actually, some people to thank. The animal shelter's been doing some improvements, and back in 2016, in November, we finally started an expansion of our outdoor kennels. Since I've been there, which is about 6 years, we've not had the ability to let the dogs in and out without handling them. So if we have a dangerous dog in there, it's a risk to our volunteers. It can be a risk to visitors if they're coming in when we're trying to move these dogs, even if it's a boisterous dog. So we needed guillotine doors. These are these slider doors that you just pull a cable. And Charlie Campo with Campo Brothers worked with me on this. Him and Gary Pachota, who owns Best Concrete, donated labor and materials. It was huge. If you've not been by, please come by. I'll be happy to show anybody the work. We had Veterans Fence come in and fence it in. That was roughly $5,000. But like I said, Campo Brothers and Best Cement donated the labor and materials for that whole project, which was incredible. And we've been getting great use out of it already. Following that, we had we purchased 2 guillotine doors. We're going to get 4 more. They're about $273 a piece, and then there's the installation. We had a resident, Jim Gatt, who donated his time and did the installation on the first one. And like I said, we got a couple to go. We also wanted to make our entrance to the dog kennels safer. We didn't have a barrier stopping the public from just walking in, and people tend to want to pet the dogs right away, and we don't have a way to protect them from a potential biter. So Ed Kostroff from West Shore Construction donated his time and materials in a $500 roughly project with a code pad, so we have a safety barrier door to a second barrier. That also protects us if a dog busts past us when we are moving them. It protects us from losing a dog out onto the farm, because now we have 2 doors to stop them. We just recently had the lobby interior and the kennel area painted, and we've got other projects that we're going to be working on this year as well. This Sunday, every Sunday in March, we have had a wonderful program called Reading with Friends. The kids come in. We had them do reservations. It's a partnership with the Kiwanis for Literacy Month, and the kids come in and read to the animals. It's a way for the kids to read without judgment. So they're comfortable, and it's also very calming for the animals. We've seen some interesting behavior from some animals who we thought might otherwise be cagey. It calms them right down, and then we have cookies and refreshments afterwards. This Sunday, a woman who graduated from Groseville High School, I'm not going to speculate when, but she's a nice lady, Joy Hall Carlo. She's an author, and she's on her 3rd book in a series. The 3rd book is called Arrogance of Belief. She's going to be signing those books. They're available at the Historical Society for sale as well. And it's a story about a young man who is a resident, and his name's Wiley Davis, and he grows up on Hickory Island, and the books all reference spots all around Groseville, and they're really page turners. I did want to mention, we're talking about the farm. Everybody suffered a little bit from the recent windstorm. And if you've been on the farm, you've seen some of the effects of that, some fencing down and whatnot. We lost power for a couple days. I can't remember how many days, but we were running generators all over the place, and everything went fine. I mean, luckily we didn't get into any sustained sub-zero temperatures for too long, but we're back up and running, and we haven't suffered anything long-term from that. And then, as always, I'd like to thank our volunteers. I'm the only paid employee there. We have a volunteer staff of about 30 that split up the week between the cat room and the dog kennels. I'd like to name every single one of them, but time does not allow. They know who they are. And then the public who supports us. Big thanks to them and commissions like yourself that back us on our projects and our goals and endeavors. And that's all I got. Thank you
I
very
had a
much for your
question
time.
for you.
Yes, sir.
The damage, I saw the fencing and the trees and stuff down there. With the cost for that, does that come from the township or from the rec budget? Since the rec oversees that, is that something the farms pays for? Or?
That's a great question. I'd have to defer to Walt. I'm not really sure.
If it's on anything outside of her building, it's the recreation. We got to do insurance coverage, or we just absorb the loss.
I would just be interested in what it costs because there was a lot of fences down there, and I saw Gene working down there. So just food for thought, what it's going to cost on that bill to fix that.
When we were replacing the fence around the outside of the new kennel run, how old are those fences, do you think, there, Doc? The posts, you push on any one of them, and they're pretty much going to snap. Yeah.
Yeah, none of them are cemented either. So, I mean,
right.
we were starting with the plan when Tim was here to start doing it, but we never actually started it.
Well, I know last summer the guys were out there actually going post to post, and it was like an all-season job, and I didn't know that horses chewed that wood down there. It was something new I learned. There's big bites down there, so.
How's the dog park?
Dog park's great. You know what? I wasn't too keen on the that drainage plan initially. I was worried that it wasn't going to work. We still, in the wet season, we're going to still have some conditions out there that aren't favorable, but it was a considerable improvement. I'm super happy, and I was also, a little worried about the fence being 5 foot. I wanted a 6 foot fence. But we've not had a problem with that either. The fence company, that was Veterans Fence also, and they did a great job on that. It's sturdy.
Deer in there too,
everybody's happy. Yeah, yep. We like to cohabitate. It's equal opportunity. The Russians got in there too.
Any questions for Julie? Anyone?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
How many dogs or cats are in the shelter right now?
I'm glad you asked that. And that's another couple of people I'd like to recognize. Catherine Kostroff and Allison Gatt joined us about a year ago at the shelter, and they took over marketing on Pet Finder. And I don't know if you've seen some of the marketing on Facebook, but they're really clever, really creative, a lot of cute stuff. And we veritably emptied that shelter. It's a constant revolving door, and we're always getting animals in and we're moving animals out. But currently, I think we have 4 cats and 2 dogs. 1 dog is in foster. And if I could make a public service announcement, microchip your animals. I just picked up a stray cat on Stout 2 days ago. A girl called and said, hey, there's a cat. I've never seen him before. He's sunning on our back deck. So I go back there and I call him over, and he comes right to me. No collar. Get him to the shelter. It was late in the shift, so I didn't do his medical workup, and I started it today. And about four points down on our list is scan for a microchip. He had a microchip. They were on vacation in Tennessee. They had a housekeeper that he busted out the door on. His name's Buster, Doorbuster. And anyways, they'll be coming to pick him up tomorrow, and they were elated that we had him.
I got a question about that chip. My little Gigi, she was chipped when she was a puppy, but someone told me those expire. Is that true?
Oh yeah, you have to reactivate it yearly. If you don't reactivate it, somebody in my position might be able to trace it back to you. But it depends on what operator you get. They can say, sorry, it's not activated. We're not,
It also depends on who you buy your microchip from.
Right.
Because we've got a microchip now that it's just one-time fee. So it doesn't cost anything, yeah.
Okay.
And they do say there's a universal reader. Not true.
So what do you mean?
Ours is pretty decent.
Reactivate.
Might
You mean
have-
pay another $50 a year or something, whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them do, or
It's like
every
a
time you
subscription.
change. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And if they expire, then you just got metal in your dog or your cat.
I had Doc microchip my puppy about 1.5 years ago, and I never activated. Nice job, ACO. Right?
She's telling me real.
But I keep a collar on him with my name and phone number and license.
Gigi has multiple collars. It depends on the
Whole
day.
closet
the weather.
full. She's fashionista.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Julie, who were I heard Kostroff, but who was the other person you especially thanked for the Facebook?
Allison Gatt.
Allison.
G-A-T-T.
Allison.
Anything
All right.
else? Oh, sorry.
All right, did we get with Jim already or no?
Yeah, we Dr. Woodward just did her thing, and I skipped myself until you got back. So I'll take my turn if I can now.
Okay, so Mr. Novak.
All right. So some updates on things. As you can see, the purple and yellow font on the screens, the concerts for the Riverfront this summer have been all secured. There's 9 of them. They start at the end of June. They go through the end of August. Smokies is paying for all the entertainment in August. The CRC, well, the rec department's paying for June and July's entertainment. I came in $1,500 under budget than what we spent last year.
All right.
So, anybody recognize that yellow font? That is from Prince's album cover. I don't know. Anyways, my guy thought it was cool. So yeah, we got 9 bands June through August. Saturday, April 8th, Ethel. I hope I'm not stamping on your thing here. Saturday, April 8th is the Easter egg hunt at the farms. So get your kids down there, get tickets. It's always a fun time. Easter Bunny will be there. And I had a question about who's responsible for the agenda, but I think we answered that tonight. There's a sign at Bellevue and West River that needs attention. It used to be the recreation sign for Water's Edge. It's been down for a couple of months now. So we got to work that into the budget. You know, the big sign when you drive up Bellevue from West River, it usually has a sign that hangs there. Am I the only one that notices this stuff?
Yeah, what do you mean? Where is it?
Right at the corner of Bellevue.
No, I mean, it's down? Or?
Pole signs gone. The wood poles are there that hold it. It just needs up. Yeah. All right, did that. So, Easter egg, bands. All right, that's going to bring me to Island Fest. We need to, if you go to islandfestgrosehill.com, vendors, sponsors, the schedule is on there that's going on right now. Islandfestgrosehill.com. With all this positive stuff, I've heard, I was pulled aside last week that there's possible budget cuts because the township is working on their master budget plan,
it's just their total budget.
And Island Fest is probably one of the first ones to go for budgeting. I just want to show you guys something. I'm going to walk over there where that camera is. Is that okay?
Sure. The only thing is, it's hard to talk. I don't know if we have a microphone.
I have a pretty projecting voice.
So it's like a dial. So turn that dial.
Okay. This is what the township has given us since 1999. If you look in there, it says $10,000 township contribution. It was up to $25,000 in 2001, around then. It dropped to $15,000. It dropped to $10,000, and then in 2006, it dropped to $7,500.
And when we say township, it comes from the general fund.
General fund towards festival, which is a 3-day event. Now, if you look at the profit, if you look at the net over to the very right side, if we didn't get the money from the township, that is what we would come in at. All right, and the little quotations are negative. I mean, look at 2002. That was a big loss, almost $30,000 loss. Needless to say,
that was a firework thing.
They're talking about cutting $5,000 off a festival budget, so that would leave me $2,500 to work with for 3 days to throw a party on Grosse Ile. I know some people don't like to hear that, and if you also look, the past 4 years, I'm going into my 5th year as chairman, we've never come in. Okay, now if you look at the profit and to the right next to the years, I've never come in at a loss at all since my term as chairman. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of hard volunteers and our commissioners. But, you know, without that $7,500 from the township that at one time was $25,000, I just don't want people to think that the taxpayers' money is going to throw this festival. It's not. It comes from sponsorships and vendors and crafters. The carnival gives us a big chunk. Giza is doing another soccer tournament this year. Over 5,000 people possibly attending just for the soccer event. That brings sales of wristbands to the carnival, beverages purchased, food, you know. So that being said, a $5,000 cut going down to $2,500 for a 3-day event. We spend, you guys know what the Concert on the Commons is that the Art Alliance does on Sundays afternoons. We spend more money out of the Art Alliance for that concert at the Commons than a township will give us for a 3-day festival.
And to be clear, this does not include any of the hours from recreation department's man hours. This is not including nothing. This is
Right.
all him just to put it on. This has nothing to do with the budget for when we start talking overtime hours and stuff like that.
So I just wanted to put those numbers up there and just say, it's not tax dollars. It's such a small amount. I would have loved to have a $25,000 budget one year. That would have been awesome. Imagine what I could have done with that. But going down to $2,500 is going to lead me into my next story.
Is it going to be a happy ending story?
Yes, I always have happy endings. All right. So, that being said, it seems like there's been a little bit of an issue. We want to borrow the football fields for 3 days. We just want to use those football fields so we can bring additional soccer players in for that weekend. That will bring thousands of dollars, hopefully, in revenue for Island Fest. Because if we don't have any working capital, we cannot do this next year, year after year. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be my last year as chairperson. And I'd like to think that I brought it into present times and made it a cool festival for everybody to attend. We have top-line entertainment. We have amazing vendors and food and a great carnival. And in order to sell wristbands and that, to deny the township people, and a lot of off-islanders too, they just want to use those soccer fields for 3 days. And I hope we could come to some kind of agreement with that.
Well, how many soccer fields can we get out of the football fields? 2?
Kevin, why don't you come up here for a minute, okay, and put a face to this too, please. Kevin Naso is with Giza.
How many soccer fields, Kevin, can you get out of the football fields? 3? And we're talking largely, what age group does this? Is it all age groups, right?
We're actually, this year we went down to 4v4 fields, which is going to be 4 and 5-year-olds. They're going to be able to play in the tournament up to high schools, 18, 19-year-old kids.
So you're thinking 3 fields, though, you could get out of there.
Yeah. We've already sold the tournament out. We've got 110 teams already committed. We think there's an average of 12 to 13 kids per team, which puts us at about 1,500 players. With the parents, you're probably looking at 2 parents plus a family member. We're looking at roughly 5,000 or 6,000 people that'll be hitting the island for the tournament this year. And, we've got a lot. Ours is all volunteer as well. So we got a lot going into. We've got vendors coming, food trucks, ice cream, all this stuff. So, the ultimate goal is to have everything at the airport so they can just walk right across the street to the Island Fest and enjoy the whole weekend.
Anybody got any questions for Kevin?
So, you guys charge the teams to come and play?
There's a tournament fee because we have to pay the insurance for the players to be in the to play for the weekend.
The tournament fee just covers your expenses?
Predominantly, yes. That's why we search for sponsors and the food trucks and the vendors and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I'm sure someone's going to want to know, you're using township property and you're charging people to come and play, what happens with the money? So I would just be aware of that.
The CRC oversees that property. As we just talked about the upgrades to the fields, the football is Commerce Park, but we do lease it through, Commerce. And then the soccer and the baseball fields, CRC controls that.
No. Chad, what I was asking, they've got a tournament, which I love. I think is a great thing. But I guess my concern would be, I would just be aware that, when people hear that, hey, you're charging teams to come play, where's that money going that you're charging people to come play on Grosse Ile property? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
so you answered my question. I'm happy with it, but I would just be aware of, hey,
we want to put all the money back in the program. That's the ultimate goal.
Okay.
But they bring a lot to over here.
Chad, I get it. I'm just throwing that out there so that I'm down. The program's great. I love it. Everybody loves it. Again, you answered my question. That's all I wanted to ask, so.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Football, want to respond? Sure. All right. Give me your name again.
Absolutely. So my name is John Howard. I'm the current president of Gyra Football and Cheerleading. And I can say I wasn't prepared for this discussion, but I'll entertain it. We've In the past, we've worked with GISA for their tournament and cooperated with them on a number of initiatives, including, last-minute power hookups. We got an electrician. We let them use our power from the clubhouse. No issues with that. We've been full support of the soccer tournament. The one sticking point we have had is the use of our fields. And I've had this discussion with Brandy previously and Dale on numerous occasions. The period from essentially now until August is our resting period for the field and growing period for the field. And it's a common practice with football fields. You'll see the high school field, there's no activity on it. We have fully maintained those fields and fully fund those fields out of our own dime. No help from the rec department. So we have volunteers that put forth their own money and time to seed, fertilize, weed, irrigate, all the maintenance on the fields.
The irrigation did come from recreation.
The irrigation,
right?
That's the only rec money that comes to us, which is different than we pay for the mowing, all the other maintenance. Right. So we are actually just getting ready. We have a board member who is in charge of the fields. He's getting ready to aerate and seed the fields here in late March. From August till November, our football players are on that entire 5-acre parcel, and they do a tremendous amount of damage to that lawn. And by the end of the year, depending on the weather, it becomes very hard, and if you go out there and look now in the middle of the field, there's very little grass. So we use this period from April to August to grow the field, and it becomes a safety issue for our kids. We're playing tackle football out there if we don't have thick, lush grass out there. So like I said, we totally support the tournament, but it's not in our best interest from a field standpoint and from a safety standpoint. And we know from 2 years ago what happened with the deluge of rain over that weekend. If that were to happen and they were playing numerous games over the course of a 3-day period on our fields would be done, and there would be no grass there for us to start in August. So those are our concerns. And again, we fully support the tournament, but we need that time to grow and keep our fields maintained.
Any questions for John?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Sure.
First, when you said no help from the rec, I think $1 a year to rent those fields is a pretty good deal, for 8 cents a month. So that's not that we're... And 5 acres, what do they have at the high school? Aren't those fields available down there too? And I don't know anything about fertilizing. I know what it was going to cost to fertilize where the rides go over here, and it was ridiculous. What we just wanted to do to level it for 3 days. So
What are you talking about, the school again? No, what now?
Well, I want to know what they had to use down there. I mean, they have football fields down there, right?
Yeah.
No.
No,
So between April and August, they cannot use those football fields at the high school either?
It's a common practice. In Brandy's last community, she said that was their practice there as well.
Oakler had a big thing about
It took forever to get lacrosse to get on that field.
Yeah, lacrosse is a spring sport. They use the football field.
And what
It
kind
took
of
forever
shoes?
for them to get there.
Well,
it took them a long time.
Well, how did that play out then? If the lacrosse team guy, I mean, don't they wear spiked shoes in that? Is that what the problem is? And I get the rain situation.
I can't.
We
speak to
play
that situation.
maybe 4 games on that field, and again, I'm not saying which way anything, but we play 4 games spread out. It's not. I can see his point. I understand where you're coming from. I mean, we're down there. We play 4-6 games, and our season's done. And we're done by April, May, June. We're usually done.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Kevin about this in the past, and if they were to schedule games on our field, it would be constant. It would be all day long for 3 days. And it's just not something that's in the best interests of our organization, me representing 150 families who are going to be using that field. If we let another organization use it, and when it's time for us to use it, it's a safety issue.
So it boils down to a safety issue and not a fertilizing issue then.
It's both. You have to fertilize.
I need some help here from you guys.
Well, what we got to understand is how many games are we talking about that they wanted to play? If we're talking about a 3-day weekend tournament for Gyra, right? How many games are played? Giza, excuse me, Giza. How many games are we playing each day? 5 games?
No, they start at 7:30 in the morning and go till 8 o'clock at night sometimes.
All day.
I have a niece who plays in them.
For this tournament.
Yeah,
is that true, you guys, then? We're talking about nonstop games, 10 games a day? And how many games do you think, just an estimate, give me an idea, how many games on Saturday, how many games on Sunday? We're talking about on the football fields.
Yeah, just on the football field.
So it'd be basically nonstop kids running up and down these fields from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way to limit the use of the football fields to the playoff games or something, or?
To that point, though, we use our soccer fields from March, June, end of June, and they're in perfectly fine condition when we're done with them. The fields for 2 days isn't going to do any damage to them.
I disagree with that.
You could come look at our fields after we play a whole weekend on them. After that big rain we had 2 years ago, we played on our fields during all that rain. And Monday morning, the fields were fine. We played on them that Wednesday, normal regular season soccer games. They're fine.
Right,
They did no damage.
But
you put kids on those fields for a couple of days. I mean, those fields, those aren't. It's not like you're playing on the high school football field. These are rough fields.
Exactly. So that is our growing season. And if you look at the field right now, because of what we do to the fields between August and November, it's down to bare dirt in the middle of the field. So if we don't have a chance to grow it in the spring and we have constant churn and spikes on there, it will not allow us to grow it.
These guys did a complete leveling of that area.
Absolutely.
And started from scratch.
Let me ask you this question, okay? What did you guys do with your tournament last year? How did you arrange your fields?
We had to play at the middle school.
Okay, so what's preventing you? Hold on. So did you, again, did you put the cart before the horse, assuming that you're going to get the football fields, and now you need the football fields?
No.
Then I think this is a discussion that can continue. It doesn't have to be decided now.
Right.
Again, it's
But
one of those.
here's one of the main reasons is we're sending parents and kids to the middle school. They don't get a chance to come back to Island Fest. And
I understand that, but, okay, you're presenting, and it's one of my pet peeves where we try to, anytime, say, okay, this is when we're going to make a decision about something. When this is the first I've heard about you guys wanting to use the soccer football
been on for a month.
Okay, but it's the first time it's been presented. Okay,
Years.
okay, hang on. It's the first time you've presented it now to say, hey, we want to use the football fields. Well, in fairness to him, why are we doing this now at the last minute? I think you guys, you need to decide when you're lining up your tournament next year. Say, hey, where are we going to play? Do we want to use the football fields?
We already
let's
have.
figure out. Let's figure out a plan for the next tournament. Which, if we got to use the football fields and it's an option, then we use the football fields. If we don't, then we don't. But again, I think
end all for the tournament if we don't get the football fields. It would be great to have all of the soccer games in the same facility.
But see, now this is all consideration, though, you guys, for these plans that we have also.
Right.
That's going to be a big, huge thing about that. If how do we utilize that whole soccer area? This is going to play into the effect here. Right. Do we have exclusivity rights for football? Do we have exclusivity rights
the answer
for
to that question,
soccer? And it should be, right?
The answer to that is no. Those are rec fields.
Correct.
Which means, theoretically, lacrosse could come down there and play if they wanted to, okay? And you guys know how I feel about lacrosse. But right now, what we got is we got football that's got their fields down there. And we're trying to, in my opinion, force them to make a decision tonight to use the fields. And I don't think
No, we're not making it just a discussion.
Okay.
No decisions.
Right.
No discussion. No decisions.
But if it's just a discussion, I don't have a problem with it.
And if I could just close, if we do entertain this and go down this road where we start sharing fields, we would like to do some events ourselves with some scrimmages and some things like that we don't have the opportunity to do. Would we then have use of the soccer fields to do that? I don't think they would want us playing
That's
football
something to think down the road. I see where you're coming with that statement, John, but I would just like to let you know that we have been talking about this for a while for 2017 soccer game. I mean, this came on the books as it wrapped up end of last May. You know, I've been involved with this passionately because of just the 2 days. And I get where you're coming from, and I don't want to be a jerk about anything. So I want to say something to you guys right now while you're on the room, and you too, baseball guy back there. Isn't baseball part of Gyra? Yes. Just smile, John. I knew you had it, man. Okay, listen up, girls. I think this is great. And guys, Giza versus Gyra. We're going to do a triathlon sometime during the summer featuring, and all this is going to take place at Rec Property at Water's Edge. We're going to start out with basketball. We're going to do a volleyball tournament between you guys, and then we're going to end up with the swim tournament. So that'll be 3, right? That's triathlon. After the swim thing, we're going to throw a party at that swimming pool at Water's Edge for 21 and over. But I don't want I'm not talking team members. I want the dads out there.
And then we arm wrestle for the field?
I do not know. I think it's a great idea. Listen, so there'll be a fundraiser. We don't know what the funds will go for. Is it an ice rink that sat there all winter long? I don't know. Is it to split amongst you guys? I don't know. But I think a triathlon, and if you don't want to do tri, we could do the bi thing with just I think volleyball's got to be in there and swimming and wrap it up. I will help plan this event. You know, with zero budget, I'll come up with ideas and stuff. But if we can get Giza versus Gyra, Kevin, are you listening back there? Oh, dude.
Hey,
drop the mic, man.
That sounds kind of sexist. The women can't compete either?
I would think the moms bring... Oh, I'm so sorry. Moms cheerleaders, hey.
No, why can't... Whoa, that's even worse.
I go there.
Throw him out.
Ethel, what do you think about
All right,
that?
next commissioner's report.
Okay,
Thanks, John.
so thank you. I just want to close by saying I'm representing a lot of families, and to allow another organization to use our field, I don't think is in the best interest of our families and what we're trying to do there. So thank you.
All right,
Appreciate you hearing me.
thanks. All right, are you done, Mr. Novak? Or are you still got?
I won't mention the letter from Greg Kish in 2010 that talked about all the groups together, but Greg's a buddy of mine, so I'm good. Thank you. Yes, but the paper contracts are still never been signed.
All right.
Thank you.
So help me when I was doing it. Jim did his. Leah, you did your update? Matt, you did your update?
Yep.
Ethel's next.
Okay. Ethel,
Yes, sir.
you got any updates?
Just a couple things, please. Senior Fitness Session 4 begins on 3/27 to 5:15 at 9:15 to 10 a.m. at the Centennial Farm. That's a 7-week course. $90 per session or $7 per drop-in. And then the Senior Olympics are going to be hosted by Trenton this year, but I have no updates on that at this time. And I would like to just add a little bit about the annual Easter event for the egg hunt. It has to have a pre-registration, and they'll have 2 sessions, one at 9:30 and one at 12 noon. And there are only 50 people per session, so be sure and sign up. It's $8 per child, and they have $4 for adult meal tickets. And you can go to grossealrecreation.com online or call 734-676-2364. Thank you.
Ethel, who is our representative for the Senior Olympics? Do we have a representative?
Right now, Tom
Saunders?
Saunders is working with it, yes.
Oh, good. Any questions for Ethel? Yes. Skipped you?
My ring didn't get in yet.
Okay, Greg, you got any updates?
No, real quick. I think we've beat airport recreation fields to death right now. I only got one question, and maybe Jim can answer it or get to the bottom of it. There's some shipping containers down there. Do we know why they're down there?
What's stored in those containers?
Oh, they're your containers? Soccer ball.
I mean, to the north?
Yeah,
all the way to the
north, to the side there.
I was just told there's athletic stuff stored in those containers.
In the town, do you guys got permission from Dale and Randy? Brandy. Okay, all right. It's the first time I noticed them. I must be blind.
Yeah, it's just
Anything else? else, Greg?
That's it. That's all I got.
Any questions for Greg? Leah, schools?
I'm turning it over to Elisa.
So let me begin by saying we've had a really busy past 2 months, so this is a rather long report. February started out...
Is it green?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like quiet. Okay. February started out with the Coming Home Dance, which took place on February 11th. The week prior, we had a school dance spirit week, February 6th through 11th, and the days that it featured were Beach Monday, Extraterrestrial Tuesday, Double Denim Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Freedom Friday. Following that, we had the Key Club. They elected new positions for the 2017 to 2018 season. Auditions were held, and work is now being done on the next high school musical, the spring play, which will be Little Women. The Groseal High School Environmental Awareness Club hosted the Valentine's Day Rose Sale on February 14th and also held a tile drive for local animal shelters from February 21st through February 24th. Midwinter break took place from February 17th to 20th, and the Groseal High School Marching Band performed at the girls' basketball game as a pep band on February 10th. The game was very successful. Overall, the sports teams, the boys' basketball came in Huron League 3rd place. Girls' basketball came in Huron League 4th place with the district 2nd. Competitive cheer had a very successful season. At their Plymouth Invitational, they got 1st place. Their Wyandotte Invitational, 1st place. News Herald Invitational, 2nd. And Allen Park Invitational, 2nd. The hockey team was Huron League 1st place and Detroit, Michigan League 2nd place. The wrestling team got district champion for the year, and our SAT Excel prep started to take place for juniors during school on February 8th, 15th, and the 22nd. For March, we had another practice SAT test administered on March 4th, and the previous week, last week, we had a spirit week for the Rock CF Marathon, and in just 5 school days with only high school students, we raised $7,066.64 in donations to the Rock CF Foundation. On Monday, we had a breakfast and chili cook-off. Congratulations to Wayne Saka, a 10th grade student who won the chili cook-off. That was March 13th. Tuesday was a Penny Wars competition in class and a volleyball competition, March 14th. Wednesday was a Buffalo Wild Wings in-class raffle and an after-school concert, March 15th. Thursday featured a Send Teachers to Jail Day and the Mr. Devil pageant. That was March 16th. And Friday, March 17th, was the Sadie's Dance. Following that, we had the robotics competition, which took place from March 17th, 18th, and the 19th. Congratulations to junior student Kina Pandia for winning the safety award for the 3rd year in a row for Groseal High School. We had a new high school sport approved for the first time in Groseal High School history, the Michigan State High School Clay Target and Trap Team League. We also had the Winter Sports Awards banquet, which took place on March 20th. We had the kickoff of all new spring sports. Another practice SAT was administered on March 21st. Our real one will be April 11th. We also had the first sports spring game, which is taking place right now. It's a girls' soccer team. And spring break will begin soon on March 31st and go to April 9th. We also had a band competition, and we did very well. It was not judged. It was you go there, and they work individually with each band, and they kind of help you to improve, and we did very well.
Apparently nothing goes on at the high school. All right.
Boy, that was some representation. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Ann, any updates in your world?
Not too much. It's pretty quiet, but there has been some vandalism at the Playscape, unfortunately. And then we're looking forward to seeing what comes out of these plans with Sunrise Park. Thank you.
Well, Joey Porcelli informed me he's going to buy a camera to put at the Playscape. I think he'll probably use drug forfeiture funds to purchase it. It's about $2,500. So,
I think he can do it because last time he said he didn't have enough feeds for the cameras.
Said he can do it.
Cool.
I'm just the reporter here.
I have an issue with or a concern about that, maybe when they're looking into doing that, they should look into Sunrise Park, some of the different properties that we oversee, and see what kind of quote they can get to do cameras at all those places.
I got an idea.
Good point.
It might be nice to move the playscape, but I don't know where it would go.
No, we tried that. It didn't go well. The founders, and because I mean everyone, that built it.
I guess the new ones are all plastic now.
Pardon me?
The new ones are all plastic if we
Yes.
replace it.
This one's outlived its lifetime, but
Devil's advocate.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I mean the place that we wanted to actually do it is put in Greg's area in the soccer field areas. They'd have something out there for the little ones to do, watching their big brother or sister play and stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion items? Extended public comment. Any final comments from the public? Yes. Come on up. State your name.
Name and address, please.
Piece of paper and ask everybody to sign. I don't have it. My name is Paige Miller. I live on Bayview Drive. And I just wanted to very quickly point out, I know that it's budget season and the township is going through that. And this is Rosemary Kate. I wanted to say...
This is who?
Rosemary Kate. I also live on the island.
Rosemary K?
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch base briefly, given that it is that budget time of year, and I wanted to remind this group that, as a daily user of the farm, as a dog park regular member, as a person who takes fitness classes 3 days a week at the rec center, I volunteer at the animal shelter, and I board a horse at the farm. I'm there almost every single day, and I will tell you that as over the years, we've been slowly and sadly watching the state of maintenance deteriorate at the farm, and I'm hoping that we've done some great things at Water's Edge and some other places on the island that I'd like to see us reinvesting some of our budget to keep things looking nice at the farm. There is the public bathroom is in bad shape. The pond is in bad shape since it doesn't get aerated anymore. The fences are way past their useful life and need some attention and replacement. Quite frankly, I think everybody knows the floor at the rec center is in bad shape. And I would like to remind this group that the one user of the farm that generates some cash, over the last 5 years, probably close to $60,000, is from the equestrian center. And I would hope that there would be some reinvestment of those rents into the equestrian operations as a whole. Just use that to justify spending some money on the fences or whatever else needs to get done there. It's a public park. People visit all the time. Dog walkers, people walking through the barns, just coming to see the horses, etc. And so, I know I came last year, and we thought we were going to do a lot of great things, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. And so I'm hopeful that we can pay some attention there again. Rosemary?
And, we have a barn cleanup scheduled for next month. And it is all volunteers, and we were wondering if perhaps we could get some help on paint. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk to it. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about the equestrian. What was the number for the equestrian you said that?
Well, I'm just talking about the rents.
Every year, 60,000?
No. That's over 5 years or so. No, definitely not.
All right. You're aware that we got now a full-time employee, and his main job is the farm. Have you met Gene at all?
A year ago, I met somebody out there who...
Yeah, he hasn't been there a year.
No, I haven't. Somebody's been painted the inside of the recreation center recently.
Right.
And I think there were some trees that fell down in the windstorm that did get moved. But there's been very, very little done otherwise. Nothing with the ponds.
You got a list of concerns? Give it to us, Jim, myself, or whatever, anyone you see on the commission. Right. And then, because we got, what we have down there is we have Gene now. He starts from Wednesday. He works weekends there, so he has Monday and Tuesdays off. So we're able to extend our rec life with our full-time employees. So as the other ones at the Water's Edge, they run from Monday through Friday. So we got a little bit of weekend thing. But Gene's main responsibility is the farm. is the upkeep for the
For
farm.
general upkeep, that's good, but I think we need a bigger, long-term budget for, because fences is something that's going to involve some expense. That,
A lot about, we have been discussing,
Yeah.
we've been through.
okay. Well, I know I talked to Brandy last year, and she was talking different options, and we said, I know, and she was said, we're going to start with this little paddock, and, you know, okay, so we did
Let me
it.
ask you something.
Yeah.
So the floor in the rec center is already a done deal. That's going to be done.
Okay, yeah, I heard that was coming, yes.
If we cut 3 of your programs that happen in that building to give you new fences, how would you feel about that?
In what building?
If you couldn't go to your Zoom.
It's not, I don't look at it that way. It's a different user.
Some things might have to be downsized in order to.
She's just looking like.
No, but the things that I do at the rec building earn money. I mean, you know, I know that last time I checked the budgets, those were the fitness classes were actually money makers, and the farm brings in cash. Those are the things that bring in cash. Those are not the things that you want to.
Right, but the expenses when you turn on a light switch and get the tractor. You know,
I get it.
Just to bring up
Mm-hmm.
5 years doesn't.
Right.
Oh, I know.
My opinion, and I could be wrong, is that if we spend the money on the fencing, so that's going to cost something. So there's no more Band-Aids. A lot of Band-Aids replaced this.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got the pokes even leaning. So it's kind of a.
Right.
We've been trying to plan on it.
Or even one paddock a year or something, but to have a plan.
Well, they all have to.
Or a certain number of
sort
feet
be
per
the
year.
same.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it's to come up with the highest quality fence, considering
Well, yeah, what kind of life are you going to get, and what's the...
what's the least amount of maintenance.
Right.
We know, I know for sure, and you know.
Yep.
A lot of maintenance.
I mean,
If you leave them, they fall apart.
Oh, yeah, I know. Even if you don't have horses chewing on them, that's just standard water. You know, they're stuck in the ground, and there's mildew, and there's wet, and there's wind, and they're all leaning. Even in the dog park, they were looking bad before they got replaced.
Right.
That, you know, even along the edges where there's nothing to do with horses, those are falling down and being an issue. It's just age.
So has the rent stayed the same for 5 years? And
Last I knew, he had a 5-year contract.
We're talking about Rob.
Yeah.
All right. So the horses that are in the private stables, maybe understand, do they pay a separate rent then to keep your horse down there?
The boarders pay Rob, and he pays for.
So the rent stayed the same for 5 years, but we want to do some improvements. He's on a lease.
That
All
on
right.
lease.
Like you and your mortgage.
Right.
Chad, the lease with Rob is through December 31st of this year. I was told that.
To go
I was
back
told
and
that
reevaluate. I hate to be
Dale
the
today.
buzzkill here, but you know, you want to do improvements, and everybody else wants to cut funding. It's like.
I know for sure that the fencing's bad. Part of it's been, I tried to start a thing going, well, we at least study what's the best fencing. We need to talk to you guys too. But we've had this thing with.
I know. Believe me, I understand. Budgets are tight all through the township. I get it. I just, would hope that, as we look at, there's so many new and exciting things, and every time we at a kayak launch and a Sunrise Park and a nice rink, and then we have to pay insurance and maintenance and all these new things, and then we're neglecting the things that we already have.
Right.
And so I just think that we need to be cognizant as we do all these new and fun things that everything has an ongoing cost.
Right.
And 20 years ago, we got the voters to approve a millage to buy the farm, but then it wasn't over. Now we have to maintain it.
Right.
And so that needs to be something that is in the budget.
We even
Because
lost money
everything's
with
20
our
years old.
cell phone tower because 2 of the phone companies merged. So we even lost money on that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we lose money a lot, it seems like all the time.
So I just
get
want you
it.
to know
I
we're
get
not
it.
ignoring it, but I'd like to get together, and if you guys have, I first would like a list of the big, not just the equestrian center stuff. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
there was
nice
some
to
wind
see
damage on
somebody
the Red
from
Barn roof,
First
too.
farm to
Yeah.
show up and, talk about stuff, because I don't want to feel like it's all my opinion. I'd rather, hear what you guys have to say and then come out with a bunch of ideas of what, I have all the same stuff you get, but if, at least three pieces of gray matter works better than one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can come up with ideas and then hope that we can talk people into whatever we can do. Figure out how we can do it.
Could we look maybe into the future and instead of doing the white fences, get a darker fence that you don't have to repaint?
I haven't thought anything about color yet.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I just
it
think
doesn't matter. I do have something somebody
If they are, I know that like Kentucky Horse Park, they have they've switched from white fences to brown fences because the maintenance is way less.
What she was saying,
Yeah.
you don't have to paint them.
You don't have to paint them, and too, some of them they actually tar the board, and the horse won't chew the tar. So
well, you have to watch it because we're going to deal with the ASPCA.
Oh yeah, you can put soap
I don't know
on, too.
about Kentucky Horse Park or Kentucky, but some of those oil-based paints we can't have around
you got to
horses.
use the right ones.
Public.
But I understand that you're seeing these plans for a park in the water and all that, and I totally get it, and these are just ideas that have come in front of us. But
They've been there.
Right, so I'm just saying, I get see it every day, and I look at the fences are
Sunrise
sad.
Park and a lawn.
Why don't we
At the
get
dog
together?
park and with the people, and we look around and we're like, it's not as nice as it used to be.
Don't you like the rustic feel, though?
Well, I don't mind it, but it's, I get used to it after every day too. But then every now and then, we go to schedule our cleanup and we look around and it's just so overwhelming.
Why don't we get together and figure out what we can do, and I'll do what I can do to get. But I need a group of people to help study these. I have to deliver the farm stuff, but get people from the farm. I have no problem with Julie. I see her all the time. I've had difficulty getting a conversation going with anybody from the equestrian park. I have called I've called a lot just to try and get it going. It's been hard.
There used to be a committee for the farm people, and for a while there, several years ago, Sandy was on it, and they kind of got together, and there was a lot of communication, which was nice. And then something happened, and that group stopped meeting. But maybe that would be a good idea because I know that. I remember having conversations with some of the animal shelter folks when we were having events at the farm, like the fall. It's like, why aren't we all talking to each other?
Right.
Because they want to sell this and we want to sell that. And, if we were all talking to each other, it would kind of make more sense. So maybe we need to revive that committee or with the different groups that use the farm.
Right.
Might be
I think that's
idea.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I think even if it's once a month or once every other month or something.
Yeah.
We'll do it at my house. I don't care. We can go somewhere.
Yeah, at the rec building or whatever. But yeah, that's
All right, cool.
Yeah, but that's a good idea.
But we'll have to look at those bathrooms. I'll have Gene get on
And
that right
public
away.
it's just you look at the floor in there. When they redo the floor for the rec center, it'd be nice if they redid the floor in the bathroom. That public one out there,
Right.
It's nasty and
Okay.
it's white and it's always dirty. So it would be good if it was a dark color. Maybe it wouldn't look so bad. But
All right, so black is what we want.
Right, I don't know, but that bathroom is nasty looking out there.
All right, great. Thanks, you guys.
Well,
Yes.
we're going to get a new director here. Let's just say in the next 4 weeks, and I sit back and I listen, and I don't say anything until I know what I'm talking about. And after hearing and seeing all of the issues that we have with all of our wonderful current recreation facilities, we're going to have to somehow prioritize where we're going to start. Because obviously we can't do them all at the same time financially. So, once she gets here, I want to work with her and work with the commission to come up with a plan to decide what needs our attention first. Because that's the only way we're going to do this. We can't just keep saying, well, this or that, or it's all helter-skelter. We need a plan on paper, in my opinion. Now, maybe there is one. Maybe Brandy left one with that. I don't know. But it sure seems to me as though, the golf course is in horrible shape. And, rounds are going down and yada, yada. And we just need to get our arms around all these areas and prioritize what we're going to do. And I would like to very much be a part of that and spearhead it and whatever else we have to do.
I agree.
Thank you.
And I think she does have a little bit of priority list. Master plan has it.
Yeah.
Kind of ticks off about some major things, but yes, it's definitely very
Got to
important.
evaluate and figure it out.
Yep, absolutely. Any other extended public comment? Yep, state your name, please.
Thank you for the dialogue tonight. Steve Lemoyne, 8410 Hampton. Just a couple of comments. Not looking for feedback, just comments. First of all, with the agenda, I know the intent of these groups is always to get more people here, just like the township, or I sit on 2 boards myself, get more people in the audience. My comment is, if the agenda reflected more of what was planned on the discussion, so as me as a community member, if I would have seen some of the discussion points earlier, like Sunrise Park, I could have come a little more prepared, or if I had seen the drawing, to provide feedback. Second, it's unfortunate that the group made a decision to consider more on Sunrise Park without any public comment, because you showed the drawing and then you went back and no feedback was asked. So I thought that was...
Sunrise Park had actually community feedback to begin with.
We're talking about tonight. Again, I'm just commenting, not looking for feedback. The other thing is, as a community member, it'd be nice to know just some of the facts when you have some of the discussions around this whole rec area that's across the street. You mentioned multiple times tonight that there's this contract. So it'd be good just to know some of the facts, whatever you're willing to share. So if the contract, for example, states it's a lease and it's for football, soccer, and competitive cheer and calls out sports, I think that's a pretty important fact to share with the public. And I do believe that's what it states. Second, with that, I think it'd be important to provide maybe, if possible, the drawings for other people to provide feedback. So I know you provided to the groups that are here tonight. Don't know if it's breaking a rule or not, but for the public to provide feedback if you post it on the rec part of the website, because I think we do have a pretty good website. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right. Individual commissioner comments. Alicia, you're first. Anything you want to add?
All I can say again is NHS, we need volunteer hours. I think the end of next month is our due date for those 15 hours. After that, we will start the next year. So, like you said, for Island Fest, you need workers. Let us know what time.
I've been talking to your mom a lot.
Farm cleanup.
Yep. We'll probably be there too.
Shira Football and Cheer, come see us.
See? Anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Matt, anything you want to add?
Not really anything, but I do appreciate the community feedback and concerns that were shared with us tonight. That's about it.
Greg, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Helena?
No.
Chad?
I would like to see the festival app back on GI Connect, but that's not going to happen. So everybody just go out there to islandfestgroseal.com and do what you can, little or a lot, to support a great event June 2, 3, and 4. Thank you.
Leah, anything to add?
Yes, the Groseal Music Hall scholarship applications have been delivered to the music teachers at the high school and the counseling department. So anybody who's planning on continuing with their music after high school, graduating senior who lives on the island, is welcome to apply. So see your counselor, see the music guys, and get it. The auditions are scheduled for April 20th. Right. At the middle school.
Thanks. Ann?
Yes, I have one thing. Kiwanis sponsors the Island Cleanup, which will be Saturday, I think, April 29th. And that's usually first thing in the morning from, say, 9 until 12. And they usually provide donuts and all that beforehand. We meet at Northridge Church. And then people go out they'll break people into teams. They'll go out into assigned areas, and then they always provide pizza lunch. So if anybody's interested, the Kiwanis, the Island Cleanup will be the end of April. Thank you.
Ethel, anything to add?
No, thank you.
Jim, anything to add?
No, thank you.
All right, I guess that's it. Motion to adjourn. It is 9:03 p.m.
I'll put a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:03.
Second. Ethel, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Please volunteer in your community. Giza, Jaira, can I get you guys' names and numbers,
I need
please?
everybody's name for the minute.